Now, recently in the news was the border violence issue between Assam and Mizoram. And this has been happening for several decades now. And through the years, a lot of reasons have been cited for that violence to take place. Now, in your research, you've discovered that there are much more bigger issues, especially with drugs being involved and even the church being involved to some extent. So, what can you tell us about this?
Yeah, so coming to the recent border clashes between Assam and Mizoram, uh, uh, they have occurred several times in the past as well. So border clashes between Assam and Mizoram is nothing new. But this time, the intensity of the conflict and the manner in which it began to unfold, it raised several uncomfortable questions about the real intentions of the government of Mizoram behind exacerbating the already tense situation, the role of the church, the recent ban imposed by the government of Assam on the illegal transportation of cattle outside the state, the Assam Cattle Preservation Bill, and the huge crackdown on the powerful drug mafia in Assam. Uh, Now, before coming to the main issue, I think we should know about the history. So,
Right.
historically speaking, the Assam-Mizoram border dispute, it can be traced to two important notifications of 1875 and 1933 that was passed during the British era. The notification of 1875 differentiated the Lushai Hills from the plains of Kachar, whereas the notification of 1933 demarcated a fixed boundary line between the Lushai Hills and Manipur at the tri-junction of Manipur, Kachar, and the Lushai Hills without consulting the Mizo leaders. And Mizoram believes that the boundary must be demarcated based on the 1875 notification, which is derived from the Bengal Eastern Frontier Regulation Act of 1873. And this boundary line of separation was made by the British colonial administration in close consultation with the local chiefs of the Mizo community. And on the other hand, the government of Assam follows the demarcation specified by the notification of 1933. And the general opinion in Mizoram is that with the introduction of the new border line of 1933, the Lushai Hills had to lose some of their indigenous lands. Now, what happened after independence? After independence, the Union Territory of Mizoram, it was elevated to the status of a state on 20th February 1987, as per the 53rd Amendment to the Constitution of India, along with Manipur, Tripura, and Meghalaya. And this process was initiated by the then Congress government at the center, led by former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi. He himself flew to Aizawl to inaugurate the new state, but in the hurry to find a quick solution to the problem of raging militancy in the state, the Congress governments at both the center and the state failed to clearly demarcate and settle the crucial border disputes between Assam and Mizoram. So it was left like that. And now coming to the recent border clash, so this is the history. Like both states, they continue to have a differing perception of the border, and both have attributed border skirmishes to this difference with respect to the demarcating line of the border. Now coming to the recent border clash, that took place in the Assam-Mizoram border, it began when Mizoram allegedly breached the existing status quo of the border. The construction of a road towards a place called Rengti Basti, destroying the inner line forest reserve in the Lailapur patrolling post of Silchar, and the setting up of a new armed camp along the border. These were some of the provocations on the part of the government of Mizoram, which eventually led to the conflict. Okay. Now, Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma of Assam, he immediately urged his Mizo counterpart Zoramthanga to probe that how civilians actually got access to bulletproof vests and sniper rifles to attack the cops, because the images that were being circulated in social media after the outbreak, they were very unfortunate. Like a mob of miscreants backed by the Mizoram police, they were launching attacks on the team of police officials from Assam who were subject to indiscriminate firing and stone pelting. So, so was there some tacit support of the administration of Mizoram and the Mizoram police towards such activities? So this brings us to one of the most pertinent questions, like, is there a different angle to the conflict, which need not necessarily be a border issue? Because in the immediate aftermath of the skirmish, uh, many so-called intellectuals and academics, they were quick to jump to their guns, trying to malign the image of Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma for not being able to handle the situation. And you know, uh, being a resident of Northeast India myself, I think it would be too naive to not accept the hard fact any longer that the inner line forest areas of Assam, they have always served as the den of illegal activities such as illicit cutting and sale of timber, which is now a multi-crore business operating with the blessings of influential leaders, top bureaucrats, and notorious criminals. And the Assam Police and the State Forest Department, along with other enforcement agencies, have been stepping up vigil along the Assam-Mizoram border uh, just before days of the outbreak of this conflict, mainly with the objective of checking the illegal felling of logs inside Assam's forests and their transportation to Mizoram. So the benefactors of this illegal trade with trans-border links have no wonder they have been bearing the brunt of this increasing surveillance by the law enforcement agencies of Assam after the new BJP government in the state was formed. So it has adversely affected the illegal betel nut trade that was taking place on a regular basis between Mizoram and Myanmar. So this again brings us to another very important question. The recent drive that has been launched by the government of Assam against drug syndicates in the state, does it have to do anything with the recent border flare-up? Considering the fact that Mizoram is one of the major gateways of illegal narcotics from Myanmar into India via Assam. Because there has been a relentless crackdown on drug mafias in Assam after the formation of the new BJP government, and it has definitely given some sleepless nights to the influential drug dealers and their multi-crore dollar drug cartels that have been well fed and nourished since a long time now. And news reports of narcotics amounting to crores and crores of rupees being regularly seized, burned, and destroyed from different places across Assam, they are still regular headlines in the prominent local dailies of the state. Assam also busted a network of illegal narcotics and seized around 32 kg of heroin. So this has made some huge dents in the drug network that spans through Myanmar and Mizoram via Assam's Barak Valley and Bangladesh to Punjab and Afghanistan. And top drug smugglers and drug peddlers, they are continuously in the radar of the Assam police, and many top drug lords have already been arrested. And the drug mafia and their functionaries, they have close links with groups operating from Myanmar across the international border, receiving patronage from drug rackets in Mizoram. So these links are leveraged to enable the clandestine flow of drugs, including synthetic drugs from Myanmar to Mizoram and then to Assam and the rest of the country. Now, just a few days before the outbreak of this incident of the border row, reports were pouring in that a few people who had entered India from Myanmar, they wanted to settle in Assam's Dima Hasao district via Mizoram. But the government of Assam, under CM Dr. Sharma, it was quick to smell foul, and they became alerted, and they thwarted their attempts to settle down in that place. And very soon, the drug route through Mizoram and Manipur to Assam was targeted by the government. We need to recognize this fact that several Mizo-Christian groups and NGOs are a part of the massive drug supply network in the Northeast. They are backed by huge cash and raw power, and undoubtedly, the crackdown on drugs in Assam has rattled their enormous business interests. So they are now desperate to find ways and means to just perpetrate mindless violence and killings on the people of Assam. So was the border dispute an orchestrated one, therefore, or can it be understood as just another pretext to achieve their long-term sinister designs of what I would say destabilizing India's Northeast again? Because it's known to everyone, like when the Northeast is on the boil, the effect of this instability has all the potentials to destabilize the Indian state as a whole. And this would provide further fuel to the dream of the Islamists to isolate the Northeast from the rest of India under what is infamously known as Operation Pin Code. So it is very much possible that the high and the mighty involved in the drug cartel, uh, they could have incited the common people of Mizoram to lay claim to Assam's territory in order to divert the attention of the Assam police and other law enforcement agencies from the real problem. So, because when vigilance becomes lax, anti-state actors, the Breaking India forces, they gain an easy hand. So, when the entire attention of the police and the security forces is diverted towards the border, drug peddlers, timber smugglers, and other criminals who had been making money in the inner line reserve forest areas of Assam, they would again have a free run. So, this is a part. This was a part of the border story of the behind the border conflict that took place. Now, coming to the present Chief Minister of Mizoram, Zoramthanga, uh, we need to remember that he was a member of the Mizo National Front, the terrorist group MNF, Mizo National Front. And now these reports are available online as well. They are there in the public domain, which have time and again pointed fingers at Pakistan's ISI and terror groups in Bangladesh having had close links with the MNF. And the MNF was formed under Lal Denga in October 1961. And we all must know about it, that it had resorted to a path of armed struggle to achieve its goal of a separate state of Mizoram, separate from India. And the present Chief Minister of Mizoram, he was a member of the MNF, and he has himself confessed about it in a media conversation earlier. When India defeated Pakistan in 1971, he was hiding in Pakistan along with its comrades. And until 1975, he was in Islamabad, as he has himself confessed in an article that has been published in the Economic Times. He was there in Islamabad until 1975 as a member of the ISI's training camp. And when the Indian Army conquered Dhaka, he managed to escape narrowly in what he termed as a, within quotes, James Bond type escape. So it is a well-known fact that the region today inhabited by the Mizos, who are majority Christians, this region was the original homeland of the Hindu Riang community and the Buddhist Chakmas. And during the insurgency in Mizoram, when MNF was perpetrating violence on these people, large-scale violence was unleashed upon the Hindu Riangs and the Chakmas. They are collectively known as the Bru community.
Yes.
Their homes were set on fire, their women were raped, and they were inhumanly kicked out of Mizoram for being Hindus and as well as for resisting forceful Christian conversions. And since 1997, several thousands of displaced Riang Janajati families, they have been battling a very sad daily struggle for survival in relief camps at the Tripura-Mizoram border. A huge section of them came from the Kolasib district of Mizoram. And this is the place which made news, Kolasib district, in the context of the recent border row. And many of these Riangs and Chakmas, they still have no genuine proof of identification as Indian citizens. The safety and security of their women and girls are constantly at stake. But yes, organizations like ISKCON, Banavasi Kalyan Ashram, they are putting their efforts in helping them lead a life of basic minimum dignity. But okay, coming to the main problem, the powerful hold of the church in the society and culture of Mizoram, it can be understood from certain incidents that have taken place in the past, and how public opinions in the state of Mizoram are often molded by the church. Like, for example, Mizoram does not celebrate the International Yoga Day on June 21. Why? Because according to the powerful Christian churches here, yoga is an ancient form of exercise that is deeply dipped in Hinduism. And in 2015, after the UN General Assembly had declared June 21 as the International Day of Yoga, the church declared that yogic exercises were not compatible with the Christian beliefs of the Mizos. So yoga virtually became untouchable in the state after that. And the Mizoram Kohran Ruaituite Committee, it is a conglomerate of 15 major churches. They boycotted all celebrations associated with any form of exercise related to yoga. And we also need to understand that Assam is not the only state with which Mizoram has a border row. In October 2020, so this is, from this we can make a link, like whenever dharmic faiths have declined, there is the rise of separatist tendency. Okay, so in October 2020, the government of Mizoram had imposed Section 144 near Phuldungse at a place called Thaidao Tlang. It is a disputed village in Mamit district in Mizoram along the border with Tripura. What was the row about? It was over the construction of a Shiv Mandir by an organization called Songrongma. So the construction of this Shiv Mandir was opposed by the Mizoram government on the ground that this Hindu Mandir would disturb peace and tranquility and result in law and order problems. And so this is important here because we need to understand that this time when the border conflict erupted between Assam and Mizoram, interestingly, it coincided with the arrest of a self-styled Christian godman, Ranjan Chutia, for spreading Christianity in Assam. Ranjan Chutia was arrested just a few days back when this border conflict began. And Ranjan Chutia has been instrumental in spearheading the conversion of Hindus from both Upper Assam and Lower Assam into Christianity by faking his church as the Namghar. And Namghar, which is the main religious prayer hall cum cultural center of the Assamese Hindus. He runs this World Healing Prayer Center at a village called Dumordolong in Moran in Dibrugarh district of Upper Assam. And this World Healing Prayer Center at this remote village called Dumordolong in Moran has emerged as the hotspot of all Christian conversion activities in Upper Assam. And when I talk about Upper Assam, comprising of the districts of Jorhat, Golaghat, Sibsagar, Dibrugarh, Lakhimpur, Dhemaji, and Tinsukia, this region shares a border that is contiguous with the Catholic Christian dominated states of Nagaland and Mizoram. And definitely the fact that an extremely well-organized and powerful global machinery is in operation behind pastors like Ranjan Chutia, it requires no further elaboration. We know about it. And for a long time now also, drug trafficking in the Northeast has become a serious threat to the financial security of India in terms of the generation of black money, hawala transactions, and money laundering. So it has given rise to a large cash economy, which has provided a further fertile ground for cross-border terrorist activities and establishment of nefarious links with the underworld, and a clear indicator of the likely illegal narcotic trade in the Northeast, in which the church is involved, about which I have described just a few minutes back, is the high incidence of drug addiction and abuse in the states of Assam, Manipur, Mizoram, and Arunachal Pradesh too. Yes, so it's a long chain of transactions of narco terrorism that renders it impossible to locate the original source of the money. And the ongoing crackdown by the government of Assam against drug mafias, which has undoubtedly impacted the fortunes of this invisible lot of people involved in the drug racket. Now, coming to the main place, Lailapur, which provided the initial sparks for the border row, and which has also been the source of some major tensions in the past. Lailapur. Now, according to the government of Assam, they said that a police team led by an IGP, they went to the border at Lailapur in Kachar district of Barak Valley after it was found that the Mizoram government had illegally constructed a road and a security post in a forested land which actually belongs to Assam. Lailapur in Kachar district, it shares a border with Mizoram's Kolasib district. Now, as the team that was sent by the Assam police, as they were holding discussions with the SP of Kolasib and other top officials, armed residents of Lailapur, they attacked them, after which the Mizoram police indiscriminately fired at them. Videos were circulating later. And a place called Vairangte in Mizoram's Kolasib district, it is the northern fringe of the state through which the NH 306 passes, and it links Mizoram to Assam. And Lailapur in Kachar district is the nearest village in Assam from Vairangte. And now coming to the main problem, Lailapur and its neighboring areas of Karimganj and Hailakandi in the Barak Valley, they have been witness to vast demographic change over the past several decades. a huge chunk of the population here being that of Bengali-speaking Muslims of dubious nationality. And Karimganj shares a riverine border with Bangladesh along the Kushiara River. These regions have witnessed an unprecedented rise of antisocial activities like illegal trafficking of narcotics and liquor, robbery, cow smuggling, smuggling of pornographic films, human trafficking, prostitution, etc. And these illegal Bangladeshis, after having settled in a particular place, they marry the local girls uh, by wooing them through whatever means we know about it, and then convert her into Islam. And then they purchase lands in these areas, especially those which are dominated by the tribal population, by the Janajatis, in the name of their wives by producing certificates in her name. And then they give Muslim names to their children, but the clan remains that of the wives. For example, Akram Semia is a clan among the they are Naga Muslims. Akbaruddin Borbmiya, Assamese Muslims. Azad Lingdo, Khasi Muslims. Okay, so they first marry the local girls of the region, then they purchase land, the land which are dominated by the tribal population in the name of their wives by producing certificates in her name, and later they give Muslim names to their children, but the clan remains that of the wives. So this has been happening in places like Lailapur since a long time. Now, finally, we come to the issue of the illegal cattle smuggling market in the border districts of Assam and the northeastern states, which might have been a precursor to the border conflict. The Assam Cattle Preservation Bill 2021, which was recently passed in the assembly, it regulates the slaughter, consumption, and transportation of cattle outside the state, and definitely it could have, it must have provided a trigger point for the outbreak of the violence at the border, because beef, in any ways, it's a sensitive issue, and liberals love to paint it more and more. They love to bring the issue of beef at every possible instance that they can, especially when we talk about the Northeast. But beef, I would say here, it is not the staple diet of the people here. As a certain section of the people, they always love to paint rice, pork, chicken. They are the major items of daily consumption among the people of Meghalaya, Mizoram, and Nagaland. But considering the illegal network of cow smuggling in Assam spanning across most of the Northeast, it can be anyone's guess as to who stands to lose from the Assam Cattle Preservation Bill. Because besides drugs, the smuggling of cattle is rampant through the India-Bangladesh borders, primarily in the states of Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, and Mizoram. And Bangladesh and India, anyways, they share a 4,096 long kilometer border, out of which 262 kilometer lies in Assam. The cattle procured from different parts of the country, they are smuggled through these borders with Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, and Mizoram, and which ultimately makes their way to the beef processing and tannery industry in Bangladesh. And the price goes up as it heads towards the bordering areas of West Bengal and the Northeast. And the India-Bangladesh border in southern Assam's Barak Valley, where Lailapur is situated, the place where the conflict took place, this India-Bangladesh border in southern Assam's Barak Valley, it is the primary nerve center in the cow smuggling trail, besides Dhubri district in lower Assam. So I think in the light of these facts, we need to do an honest analysis of the Assam-Mizoram border road. Yes.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.